I'm going to tell you how video was able to catapult my real estate business. From my first year, I did $346,000 total in gross sales. To year 2021, I did just over 10.5 million. And that is all 100% because of video. Now, before we go into the details of what I'm going to be talking about today, I'm not going to tell you how to properly film or frame a video or how to edit a video. I'm going to be telling you about the failures that I experienced while coming into video with real estate. So I'm going to give you guys this quote. Now, I don't think I can actually coin this quote, but I find it very fitting to what I'm going to be talking about here in a few moments. Success. Success is the byproduct of failures. And I know that sounds really weird when you say it out loud, especially when I was writing this down. And it got me thinking, how can somebody end up being a success if they done nothing but fail over and over and over again? Like, how does that even correlate? How does that mesh together? So that got me thinking, about other successful people, like Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Elon Musk. These people started these multi-billion-dollar businesses out of their garage. And we're seeing that, that 10% of the iceberg of all their success, but we're not seeing the underlying mass, the other 90% of what it took them to get to that point. So I want you to remember that quote because I'm going to come back to it because it just fits really well to the message that I'm trying to get across. So before you understand, my point B, where we're at this present moment right now, you have to understand where I came from. So before I was a real estate agent, I spent my entire life in the car business. My dad was a car dealer for my entire life. So a lot of my earlier memories were on a car lot, in a showroom or on a car lot out there looking at cars as a kid. So I already had this predestined destiny, if you will, that I was going to be in the car business. I was going to have my own dealership and, call it Corbett Honda, Corbett Toyota, or whatever it may be. So, I leaned on that for a majority of my life, 99% of it. I always had that as a fallback plan. I didn't really do anything else or excel in anything else in my life other than the car business. So I started out, as a hydro technician. I wash cars. So I started out when I was a teenager and then got into actually selling cars. And then quickly after that, I got into management. So I was an F&I manager, F&I director. I wore a lot of hats in the car business in my 13 years that I spent in the business. So the car business was great to me. I made a lot of money. I was making six figures for over a decade. But the final nail in the coffin for me with the car business was one night I was at a dealership and I was signing up a customer that was buying a car. And it was almost 12:30 at night. And I'm literally thinking to myself, like, what am I doing? Like, why am I here? So this is ridiculous. I've been here since 8 o'clock this morning, and I'm still here. And I'm going to have to get up in 6 more hours and come right back and do this all over again. What am I doing with my life? So when I got home, went to bed, and woke up the next morning, I walked into the owner's office and gave him my 2-week notice. Now, the thing about the car business is they don't really, honor the 2-week notice. It's pretty much as soon as you say you're quitting, they tell you to get out. So that's pretty much what happened. I packed my box up and I headed home. On my way home, I called a real estate agent that I knew. I was like, hey, I want to sell my house. So quit my job, got my house on the market, and not to mention my youngest son, Chance, was going to be born in a couple of weeks. So, the timing to get into real estate, it wasn't ideal by any means. But, I've been flirting and fantasizing about the idea of becoming a real estate agent for a few years now. But I just never had the time. I couldn't work my current job and still go to real estate school. There's just no way I couldn't do it. So this was me, jumping cannonball into the deep end, sink or swim. I'm going to be a real estate agent. So even from my very first day at pre-licensing, I already knew, what firm that I wanted to be with. I'm not going to say the name of the firm just out of respect, but let's call them, AB Realty, just for this story. So I knew that I wanted to be at AB Realty because I wanted to be with a big firm, because I thought at the time that, okay, working with a big firm meant instant success as a new agent, because they're such a big firm. People truly care about what firm you hang your license with. So I went through pre-licensing, passed all my tests, and had an interview set up with my dream realty, that dream company that I wanted to be with. I didn't even think about being with any other firm but AB Realty. So I sit down with the broker in charge at AB Realty. I passed him my resume, and I had a very extensive resume. I had a lot of accomplishments in my previous careers in the car business. I was able to run multi-million dollar businesses. So gave him my resume, and he looks at it, he's like, wow, this is really impressive. You have a lot of sales experience, so you really don't need to learn how to sell. This is a good thing. I'm like, all right, cool. So he asked me, he's like, hey, Mike, since you're a new agent, how are you going to generate clients? How are you going to get people to work with you as a newly licensed real estate agent? So my thing was, all right, man, I'm glad that you asked. Because I have this idea that I'm not seeing anybody do. Now, this is in 2018 at the time. And I'm telling this guy, this broker in charge, that I want to use untraditional video, and I want to combine it with social media, Facebook, IG, and post consistently enough where people see my content and they're able to trust me without actually, shaking my hand. And I'm going into further and further and further and further detail about this. And the guy just stops me. He's like, look, all right, Mike, you got to stop. I'm going to stop you right there. So my first initial thoughts were, I've nailed this interview, right? And he's like, look, Mike, I got to be honest with you. The idea that you have about video, this is 100%, it's a fad. It does not work in real estate. Video, social media, real estate, they don't go together. Unless you're selling $1 million properties and you want to do listing videos, then maybe. But for traditional blue-collar people, video does not work, and it's a terrible idea. You're going to fail at it. Also, you need to dress for success if you want to be a successful real estate agent. So as I'm sitting back and I'm processing this information this guy's telling me, I stopped when he said you need to dress for success. So I had to ask, I was like, all right, what do you mean you have to dress for success? He's like, well, Mike, honestly, look at you right now. You're wearing tennis shoes, jeans, and a t-shirt, and you have a hat on that's backwards to an interview to be a real estate agent. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm fully aware of what I'm wearing right now. I looked at myself in the mirror as before I came, but, this is me. I wore a suit and tie for 13 years in the car business, and I'm just not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to be somebody that I'm not. I want to be authentic. I want to be me all the time in my videos and when I meet people. So the big at AB Realty is like, man, I'm sorry, you're just not AB material. I wish you best of luck, and asked me to leave. So as I'm walking out the door, I had all these emotions come flooding up, and I was hurt. My feelings were really hurt because I didn't want to work anywhere else but AB Realty. That was my dream firm that I wanted to be with. And then this guy that has way more success than I do in real estate is telling me that my idea of video and social media is just nonsense. It's just stupid. It doesn't make any sense. So I was hurt. My heart was hurt a little bit. My pride was hurt. So I go home and I get on Google and I type in, local real estate firms in my area, within like a 20 or 30 mile radius of where I live. And about 25 or so popped up. Some were like national known and some were local, like mom and pop real estate firms. And I interviewed at every one. Went to 25 interviews. And I pitched the same idea over and over and over again, telling them about how I want to do video and I want to be untraditional and I want to be relatable and I want to have people trust me without meeting me. and I got the same results. Video's a fad. Video and real estate does not work together. It's a terrible idea. You're going to fail. You're going to be that statistic, and you need to dress for success. You look like a buyer right now versus an actual real estate agent. Nobody's going to hire you just solely based on how you're dressing. I was shocked. That's the first time in my life that I've been told, like, no, that my idea was stupid and I had no business, being a real estate agent. Because when I've interviewed before in the car business, I had this really extensive resume, and I always got offered a job. I never not got a job. So I'm sitting here thinking, like, how hard is it to get a real estate job? Like, they told me in real estate school this was easy. Everybody's hiring to have agents, especially new agents. But nobody wants to hire me. So that's when the failure really started creeping in already. I hadn't even started working yet. So I was a little lost for a while. I got to thinking that maybe this idea of video and, being myself is just not going to work in real estate. Maybe it's just a pipe dream. So I needed a job. I'm 6 months from quitting my car business job, and I had some savings and I had money that I made on the house that I sold, but I knew that money wasn't going to last forever. I needed to start producing like yesterday. So I called the agent that I used a few months prior that sold my house, and I reached out to her. I was like, "Hey, I'm trying to find a real estate job. Any firms that are hiring?" And she mentions, like, actually, I just started my own firm and I really need some help. I'd love for you to interview. Absolutely. I'll be there. I'll be there tomorrow. So I go to the interview. But I wore a nice shirt, nice slacks. I didn't bring up video, not once. When she asked me how I was going to prospect and get new clients, because she was a new firm and she didn't have the money to really help me advertise, to get leads. And I told her, I'm going to do things the traditional way, like everybody else told me before. I'm going to cold call, I'm going to door knock, I'm going to send out mailers, I'm going to pass out my business cards, I'm going to make 20 phone calls a day, I'm going to call FSBOs, I'm going to call expireds. I'm going to do things that way because it's been proven successful for the last 50 years. And I got hired. And I was really disappointed in myself, which is, you got a job. Most people they go celebrate and they're happy, but I was disappointed because I gave up on my ideas so quickly. I had 30-something no's, but that started creeping in on me, and I was scared to hear no again. So I faked who I was just to get a job. And that's what I did. I did things the traditional way. I was making 100 phone calls a day, calling expireds. I was even reaching out to FSBOs on Zillow, begging for their business to try to sell their house and sending out mailers. Like, I didn't even know how expensive postage was. I'm a millennial. Now, remember, I'm an elder millennial now. But I didn't realize that postage was like almost 50 cents a stamp. I did not know that. And, man, I went through a ton of money, like thousands of dollars, to send out mailers that I got zero return on. Nobody was calling me. Nobody was reaching out. In my first year, I did 2 deals for, $346,000. So what's that? A total of like, $9,000-ish? So not a great first year. But, everybody told me the first year is tough in real estate. So I come into 2019 and I'm really going to hit it harder than what I've been doing. I'm going to make more phone calls. I'm going to reach out to more people. I'm going to pass more business cards out. I'm going to send out more mailers. I'm going to go to events and prospect and shake hands. I did that for 6 months. And I'm getting broke. Like, I'm seeing my bank accounts just dwindling down. I had a deal here and there, like maybe two in those other 6 months. So I've done a total of 4 deals in a year. And I was failing at what has worked for other agents for 50 years, the traditional route. I was failing at it. And that really got me thinking, like, damn, Mike, you are failing at what has made thousands and thousands of agents bukus of money, and you're failing at it. Like, you are a failure, is what was in my mind while I was talking to myself in my inner monologue. I was like, dude, you're a failure. You can't. You're just not cut out to be a real estate agent. So I knew at that point I had to change a couple things, and I came back to the video idea. Now, my broker in charge at that time, she wasn't really sold on video. She didn't see the power that video and social media has. Not many people did back in 2018, 19. So she wasn't against it, but, I could tell it wasn't her favorite thing. So I started doing videos kind of without her permission, just started posting videos. So I told myself, I'm going to give myself 6 months. 6 months, I'm going to commit myself to doing 3 to 5 videos a week and see what happens. And I literally have nothing else to lose. So that's what I did. And boy, I hit the ground running. I was doing video after video after video, Facebook Lives, IG Lives, going to restaurants and businesses and asking them if I could do a quick video of your business and just share it and tag me in it. And every time I did a video, I was, oh man, this is going to be the one that's going to get me a lead. This is going to be the one that changes my career. Because I was still in that mindset from the car business of that instant gratification, where you get a client, they buy something, you get paid the next week. So I was still in that mindset, and I didn't understand why I would post a video and not get any type of instant return from that, and I was getting very discouraged because when I was posting things, I was getting absolutely zero engagement. 100 views, 75 views, 200 views. The only person that was even commenting or sharing my stuff was my mom. And yeah, thanks, Mom. And so it was bad. I was struggling. I was failing at my own idea. And that's when I really started to think I made a horrible decision of trying to become a real estate agent. I've blown through all of my life savings. I sold my house. All that money's gone. I had this stupid idea about doing video and social media and untraditional type things, and nothing's working. Like, not one person has reached out to me about a video. It's Christmas time at this point, so I'm almost up on my 6-month commitment that I told myself I was going to do. So it's Christmas Eve. And I'm sitting in my living room in my rental because, I sold my house and I had to get a rental. That was a quarter of the size of the house that I was living in. Sitting there in the living room on Christmas Eve, I'm putting out the gifts from Santa, for my 2 kids, my 2 boys. And I looked down, and that's when it hit me that everything that I got them for Christmas, none of it was what the kids asked Santa for. Not one thing. I didn't have any money. I was broke. And I don't know if you guys have ever really, truly been broke before. That is where I was. I had just enough money to pay my rent for January and to pay my real estate fees January 1st. I had maybe $200 left. And all the gifts that I got my kids were from Dollar General. And I'm not saying anything bad about Dollar General. I go there all the time. But I was embarrassed. So I go and I start ripping off the Dollar General logos on the gifts that I got my kids, because my kids, they would recognize that logo, and they know, because I've bought toys from there before, when we go get incidental stuff, and they know these are really cheap toys and they break easily. But I was ripping them off and trying to make it look better than what it was. There was just a handful of gifts out there. And I'm sitting here in my mind, like, playing, all right, what am I going to tell my kids in like 5 or 6 more hours why Santa didn't bring that toy they wanted? I can't sit here and tell my kids, well, guys, I'm sorry, but Dad has broke and ruined Christmas for the rest of our lives. At that moment, I'll never forget that feeling, that moment of not feeling like a failure, but being a failure. I was at the point where, fuck my business. I had failed my kids. And I didn't know how to tell them that. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew that I had failed. Nothing that I did worked. And I was out of money. And I knew I had to get a job, another job. I was going to be that statistic in real estate they talk about. So first of the year, paid my rent and paid my real estate dues, and I'm flat broke. I have maybe 40 or 50 bucks to my name. So I started calling some people that I was still friends with in the car business, and hey guys, you have any any openings? And they're like, oh man, hey Mike, how's it doing? How's real estate? Not too good, man. They tell me, well, man, we'd love to have you, but we don't have any opening management positions. We're filled. Everybody's doing great. I was like, look, I don't have to be in management. I just need a job. I am broke. I just need a paycheck. I'll clean cars. I'll clean the lot. I don't care. I just need a paycheck coming in. I just got to be able to buy food and keep my lights on and my power. And that's all I care about right now. So I got an interview set up for I don't remember the exact day, but I think it was like a Monday, but I do remember the time. It was at 11 o'clock. Let's just say it was a Monday. And, I had like a couple of days until the interview. So I had nothing going in real estate, no potential clients, nobody, not even a warm client, not even a cold client for that matter, nobody. So I had this one last idea. I keep all my things in like a notebook, and I had this one last little idea that I wanted to do. I was like, shit, might as well. You have nothing else to do. But it was a video called "You're from Gaston County If." So it was a video that it was super hyper local type of video, and it was about like the quirky things in Gaston County, like how one road changes names, but nobody ever knows where it changes the name at, or a roundabout, or getting lost trying to find out where Best Buy is or whatever. So, I went and I filmed this video. Now remember, I'm broke, and I've been broke for 18 months. I had zero equipment. I had my cell phone and a $20 tripod from Target. That's all that I had. And I had iMovie on my laptop to edit on because it was free when I bought my computer. So I went out filming. And that's what I did. Went to the various spots or whatever and started filming. And I was actually, I was hopeful with this video. I was like, all right, this is, this will make for a really good story one day, right? Like, all right, real estate guys, like, this is like last second. This got to work, or I'm done. This got to work. I need something like right now. So I posted it with this really high aspirations and hope that it was going to do well. When I hit the post button, I was too scared to look and refresh it for a couple hours, and I came back about 4 or 5 hours later and looked at the Facebook app, and Nothing. My home mom didn't even share it or comment on it. So I was like, yep, okay. That was the the straw that just broke the camel's back there. That was the swan song of me coming out of real estate and back into the car business. So I get up Monday morning and I'm getting ready for my interview and go into my closet and I pull back my clothes and I have that one last suit that I kept. All the other nice ones that I had, I threw away, because that was like my FU to the car business. I'm never coming back, right? But I kept one suit just in case, like a funeral or a wedding, I don't know, something like that I needed a suit for. So that's what I put on. As I'm getting dressed, I'm putting my tie on, looking myself in the mirror. I'm just absolutely disgusted with what I see. I just see nothing but failure. And I couldn't even stand looking at myself. Like, how could I have made such a bad decision? What was I thinking? Great way to trust your gut, Mike. Great way to try something new. It costs you tens of thousands of dollars. So I'm walking to my car to get ready to go to my interview, and my phone rings, and it's a Gastonia number. So first thought was, oh God, this is my interview telling me they've already filled the position. There's no need to come to interview. That's just kind of how my luck's been going the last year and a half, 2 years. But it wasn't. It was a person. It was like, hey, is this Mike? Yeah. Who's this? This is such and such. I was like, hey, I just wanted to call. I just saw your video that you posted. You're from Gaston County. I just want to say, man, I absolutely love that video. I thought it was hilarious. Now, remember, this is my very first lead that I ever have gotten from any of my videos. So I was kind of like shocked. Like, oh, man, dude. Oh, man, thanks, man. I was like, you're actually the first person that's ever called me on any of my videos. And his response was, man, I've been watching them all since you started, 6 months ago or so. I don't really know how to work Facebook that well, so I don't really know how to like comment or share or anything, but I see them all the time. And I love what you're doing. I think this is innovative. This is something new. You're setting a new path for people to follow. And I was like, man, I appreciate that. And I was like, well, how can I help you, man? He's like, actually, I was calling to see if you'd be interested in interviewing to be my listing agent to sell my house here in Gastonia. Really? I'm shocked. Like, seriously? He's like, yeah, I'm interviewing a few agents, and can you be here today at 11? Yeah, what's your address? So I write down his address real quick. I'm like, yeah, I'll be right there. I'll be there here shortly. And we hung up, and before I realized, I was like, oh, shit. I have an interview for the same time. What do? I was like, can I grab my phone and call this guy back and say, hey, man, can we postpone it? And I was like, I can't do that. I can't tell a potential client or my very first client, I can't make it to an interview because I have another interview. I can't do that. That's stupid, right? So I'm literally at a fork in the road in my life. I'm looking down the left side and I see the car business and I see long hours. Yeah, I'll get back out of debt and I'll have money again, but I'm not going to have anything else. I'm going to be miserable. I'm going to be 65 years old still selling cars in the car business on something that I hate doing. Then I'm looking to the right down the real estate path and I see nothing but absolute failure. I've lost thousands of dollars and I'm failing at anything. I can't do anything right in the real estate world. Like, why would I even consider going back down this route? That should have been a very easy decision for anybody else. Go back to what you know and what made you money, and maybe come back to real estate in a couple of years. So I didn't know what I was going to do. So I legit just got in my car and I drove to Gastonia. I didn't know where I was going. I had zero idea. So I pulled up to my interview at 11 And I get out of my car and I see the seller sitting on his front porch. Now remember, this is a manly man. You know, this guy's like 6'5", 275 pounds. He's just a big old dude. And I get out, and his first thing was, "Boy, you sure do know how to dress up nice, don't you?" And I was like, "Oh shit." I looked down. I was like, I didn't have time to change my outfit, my shirt and tie that I was wearing. You know, because remember, in all my other videos that I've posted on social media, I've just been wearing regular clothes. So my first response to this seller was, "Hey, look, man, I got to be honest with you. I don't dress this way. I was actually on my way to an interview to get back into the car business. I've pretty much failed at being a real estate agent. I'm broke. You know, looking back on it now, was probably not the greatest thing to tell a potential seller client that you're interviewing to try to sell his house, that you suck at real estate. But I just felt I had to. I didn't want to give this false narrative. So the seller just kind of looks at me, you know, as I'm looking up to this guy. And he just turns and walks to his house. So I'm looking through the storm glass door as he walks into his dining room and sits down. And he turns around and looks at me. He's like, "Mike, what are you doing?" I was like, "Man, I don't know. What am I doing? I thought I pretty much blew this interview. You know, I don't really know what am I doing?" It's like, "Come on in." All right. So I walk in and I'm sitting down, talking to this grizzly man of a person, and I'm going through, you know, my sales process of a listing. I really didn't have one because I've never really been on a listing appointment before. That was my own listing. So I was asking this guy questions about his house that I should already knew, and it was just going terrible. I just knew that I wasn't going to get this listing. He's interviewing other people. There's no way. And I just tell the guys, like, "Look, man, I'm probably not the best choice for you, man. I'm not prepared. You know, I wasn't ready for this, and I apologize." He's just like, "Look, man, just stop right there." So I've heard this before, right? You know, I had flashbacks from when I interviewed at AB Realty. This man looks at me and he's like, "I'm gonna be honest with you too, Mike. You know, I told you on the phone I was gonna interview some other agents to sell my house. Now I was just trying to blow smoke up your butt. I was just trying to scare you a little bit. You're my guy. I've been watching you for the last 6 months, and I see what you're doing. And I've never met you until this moment, and I feel like I've known you for years, and I trust you just because of the videos that you have been putting out. I know who you are, and I trust you. I've not interviewed one other person. I'm not going to. I just need you to pass me the listing agreement, and I'll sign it right now." I literally, as I'm sitting at my keyboard trying to type this listing agreement up, just tears just started just dropping, soaking my keyboard. And I remember I'm a grown man crying in this other grown man's dining room, at his dining room table, just crying. And he looks at me. He's like, "Man, are you okay?" I said, "Yes, sir, I am. I can never repay you for this," is what I told him. I can't repay this in a million years. But I can promise you I'm going to give you everything that I have to get your house sold for as much money as possible and as fast as possible. I promise you. And I will never forget this. And I'll be damned, that's what I did. Made a cool little video. Got the house sold in like 2 or 3 days. You know, way over asking. Got it closed in like 27 days. I got my commission check literally a day before my rent was due. And I was able to pay my rent. You talk about the nick of time, right? So during those like 27 days or whatever, I really hadn't done any other videos because I've been focusing solely on that one prospect, you know, that one client. Because I didn't want to mess it up or lose it because I literally could not afford it. So I wake up one morning, I check on my phone, and I had like 76 notifications on my Facebook app. So my first thought process was like, oh God, I've became a meme, or somebody's found a video for me from college or whatever, and they've posted it's gone viral in a bad way. And I was like, oh God, I'm scared to look. So I grab my phone and I open it up and I'm looking, and I'm scrolling, and it's from the video that you're from Gaston County video that I posted a few weeks prior. And it had gone like viral in my area. I think at the time it had like 45,000 views. Had like over 1,000 shares and like all these comments, and everybody was like, this is a great video. I love this. I'm so going to use you. I'm going to call you when I'm ready to sell my house or buy a house. You're going to be my guy. I'm going to call you. And I was completely floored. I was like, I'd be damned if it didn't work. And then the next day, as the day started going on, I started getting phone calls and emails and text messages of people that wanted to use me as their agent right now. And I was sold on video. At that moment, I was 100% never turning my back on video. 2020, I did 13 deals. That all came from that one video. These were all closed transactions in a row from that one video. I couldn't believe it. And it got me thinking as I was writing this out to talk about. This did make for a good story. You have to go back and look. Success is the byproduct of failures. Go back and look at all the failures that I went through. All the no's. People told me that I'm not going to make it in real estate. People told me that you need to dress for success. People tell me that video is a fad. It does not work in real estate. And I'm selling as many homes as I can count. I've never had this much business. It's all because of video. So if you're one of those people that is on the fence about doing video, I hope this pushes you over the edge. Now, I can promise you one thing. It's going to be hard. But if you can post 3 to 5 videos a week and commit yourself for 6 months to make 3 to 5 videos a week, I promise you, you will start to get business and you will see an uptick and increase in your business because of it. Now, it doesn't have to be any lavish type of video. I know you guys have seen some of the videos that I've done recently. It doesn't have to be like that. It could be short form. Make a story. Go on, make a Facebook story. Make an IG story. Do a TikTok. But just post 3 to 5 times a week and be consistent about it. And I promise you, it'll pay off. So I promise you, if you can commit for 6 months to doing video, it will pay off. Video can get you in front of millions of people. There was at a point in my career where I was only getting 100 views on my videos. Now I went and looked the other day, and I've got like 27 million views on my content that I've made and put on social media. I couldn't pay somebody enough money to get that much exposure for my real estate business. It'd be impossible. It would cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars to reach that many people. That is the power of video. The thing about video people get scared about is they're worried about how they look on camera or how they sound. I mean, have you not been listening to what I sound like for the last 30 minutes? It doesn't matter. Because I had somebody tell me one time, if you met a stranger in public, would you not speak to them because of the way that you look or sound? No, not really, no. I'd go say hello. Then what is the difference between talking to a person face to face or talking to your camera? There is none. Everybody knows what you already look like. Everybody knows what you sound like. And if that person doesn't want to work with you because of the way that you look or sound, then screw them. They're not part of your tribe. They don't need to be part of your business. Who cares about those people? Video allows you to work with people that want to work with you, not the other way around. I don't have to go out and try to get people now. People see me on these content of video and consistent video, and they trust me enough to call me because I'm approachable. So I challenge you, if you're on that fence, if you're teetering, or if you've been doing video and you failed, I hope this pushes you over that point to make content and be consistent. That's the key. Just grab your phone, hit record, and post, because 80% of something is better than 100% of nothing.